Hello, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Morris, and I am here to talk to you today about Battle of the Books. So let's go ahead and get started. So if you do not remember from third grade, or maybe you are new to Bulverde Creek, I'm going to tell you what our Battle of the Books is. So the Battle of the Books is a friendly reading competition. So your job is going to be to read as many of the books on our list that you can throughout the school year. So there are 12 books on this year's list. In May, each class is going to form a team, and the team will be made up of 4 members. So 3 students that will actually compete and an alternate. And they will battle it out against other fourth grade classes to see who will become the Battle of the Books campus champion. But the cool thing about fourth grade is other schools hold battles as well. And in fourth grade, you have the opportunity to compete in a semi-district battle. So that means we will select one winner from our campus out of our fourth grade classes, and they will compete against the other winners from other school campuses and determine who will be the champion of our semi-district battle. So how do you make the team, you might be asking? This is not something you volunteer for. You actually will need to read the books, and then you will take a quiz. So from the quiz, we will look at our top 4 scores. The person who has the highest score is going to be considered to be the team captain. The next 2 highest scores are going to be the team members, so the top 3 people will be on the team. And then the 4th highest score is going to be the alternate, and the alternate takes the place of somebody who is absent. And this is actually an important job because if I remember correctly, when it came to our semi-district battle last year, we did need an alternate to compete. Everybody else, if you were not one of those top 4 scorers, well, you get a high five and the pleasure of watching the battle in our school cafeteria. So a quiz, yes, that's correct. I did say quiz, but this quiz isn't like a normal quiz. It's not multiple choice or true or false or fill in the blank. This quiz is written a little differently. We have quotes that are taken directly from the 12 books on the list, and you will have title questions and author questions. So if it is a title question, you will say the title of the book that the quote came from. Or if it's an author question, you will say the name of the author that wrote the quote. So it's really important to be successful in this quiz that you actually read the books and understand them very well, because you're going to need to recognize one single sentence out of the entire book. And so you would do that by keywords and things like that that sound familiar with the story's plot. So what are the books on the list this year? Well, each year we rotate our books. So this year's list is 12 books long. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about each book, so maybe you'll have an idea of where you want to get started when you are choosing the books you want to read and the order that you're reading them in. So the first book is Edgar Allan's Official Crime Investigation Notebook. So if you like mysteries, you'll probably like this book. I enjoyed it. First, Slurpy the goldfish gets fish-napped. Then other things begin to disappear from Miss Herschel's classroom. Odder still, the culprit leaves poetry behind. Edgar intends to find the criminal responsible with the help of his notebook. However, he's going to have to beat his rivals, form careful alliances, and make sense of a few surprising discoveries. Our second book, A Boy Called Bat. For Bixby Alexander Tam, nicknamed Bat, life tends to be full of surprises. Some of them good, some of them not so good. Today, though, is a good surprise day. Bat's mom, a veterinarian, has brought home a baby skunk, which she needs to take care of until she can hand him over to a wildlife shelter. But the minute Bat meets the kit, he knows they belong together, and he's got 1 month to show his mom that a baby skunk might just make a pretty terrific pet. Our third book is called Pickle. This story is The League of Pickle Makers. We have Ben, who began it all by sneaking in one night and filling homeroom with ball pit balls. Frank, who figured out that an official club, say a pickle making club, could receive funding from the PTA. Oliver, who once convinced half of the class that his real parents had found him and he was going to live in a submarine. Bean, who wasn't exactly invited, but her parents own a costume shop, which comes in handy if you want to dress up like a giant squirrel and try to scare people at the zoo. Together, they are an unstoppable prank-pulling force, and Fountain Point Middle School will never be the same. Our fourth book is Extra Credit. It isn't that Abby Carson can't do her schoolwork. She just doesn't like doing it. And consequently, Abby will have to repeat sixth grade unless she meets some specific conditions, including taking on an extra credit project to find a pen pal in a distant country. But when Abby's first letter arrives at a small school in Afghanistan, complications arise. The elders agree that any letters going back to America must be well written, but the only qualified English-speaking student is a boy, and in his village it is not proper for a boy to correspond with a girl. So Sadid's sister will dictate and sign the letters for him. But what about the villagers who believe that girls should not be anywhere near a school? And what about those that believe that any contact with Americans is unhealthy? Our fifth book is Some Kind of Courage. Joseph Johnson has lost just about everyone he has ever loved. He lost his pa in an accident. He lost his ma and his little sister to sickness. And now he's lost his pony. Fast, fierce, beautiful Sarah, taken away by a man who had no right to take her. Joseph can sure enough get her back, though. The odds are stacked against him, but he isn't about to give up. He will face down deadly animals, dangerous men, and the fury of nature itself on a quest to be reunited with the only family he has left. Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's library. When Kyle learns that the world's most famous game maker, Luigi Lemoncello, has designed the town's new library and is having an invitation-only lock-in on opening night, he is determined to be there. But the tricky part isn't getting into the library, it's getting out. Because when morning comes, the doors stay locked. Kyle and the other kids must solve every clue and figure out every secret puzzle to find the hidden escape route. Next book is Fish in a Tree. Allie has been smart enough to fool a lot of people. Every time she lands in a new school, she is able to hide her inability to read by creating clever yet disruptive distractions. She is afraid to ask for help. However, her new teacher, Mr. Daniels, sees the bright, creative kid underneath the troublemaker. With his help, Allie learns not to be so hard on herself and that dyslexia is nothing to be ashamed of. As her confidence grows, Allie feels free to be herself, and the world starts opening up with possibilities. She discovers that there's a lot more to her and to everyone than a label, and that great minds don't always think alike. The eighth book is Punished. Logan and his friend Benedict run into the wrong guy at the library, literally. When Logan slams into the reference guy in the basement and gives him a little lip, Logan gets punished, really and truly punished. He has 3 days to complete 3 tasks before Professor Woodsworth will lift the magical punishment that keeps getting Logan in even more trouble. Odette's Secrets is the next title. Odette is a young Jewish girl living in Paris during a dangerous time. The Nazis have invaded the city and every day bring new threats. After Odette's father enlists in the French army and her mother joins the resistance, Odette is sent to the countryside until it is safe to return. On the surface, she leads the life of a regular girl, going to school, doing chores, and even attending Catholic Mass with the other children. But inside, she is burning with secrets about the life she left behind and her true identity. The next one is How Oliver Olsen Changed the World. Oliver Olsen's teacher is always saying that one person with a big idea can change the world. But how is Oliver supposed to change the world when his parents won't let him do anything on his own? Not his class projects or even attending activities such as the space sleepover at school. Afraid that he will become an outsider like ex-planet Pluto, Oliver decides to take control of his corner of the universe. The next one is Dead City. Most kids have enough to deal with between school, homework, and extracurricular activities, and friends. But Molly Bigelow isn't your typical tween. By day, Molly attends MIST, the Metropolitan Institute of Science and Technology. But it's what she's learning outside of school that sets her apart from her classmates. Molly is a zombie hunter, just like her mother. And our final title is Night of the Howling Dogs. Dylan's scout troop goes camping in Halape, a remote spot below the volcano on the big island of Hawaii. The only thing wrong with the weekend on a beautiful, peaceful beach is Louie, a tough older boy. Louie and Dylan just can't get along. That night, an earthquake rocks the camp, and then a wave rushes in, sweeping everyone and everything before it. Dylan and Louie must team up on a dangerous rescue mission. The next hours are an amazing story of survival and the true meaning of leadership. So, hopefully, you guys found some books that really piqued your interest there. I know there are several good ones on that list. So, where do you go from here? Well, we have books in our library. They have a colored tape over the top of them, and we have a special shelf. So if you just ask Miss Daly on her eye where the Battle of the Books selection is for your grade level, we will be happy to show you. And also, we have purchased some books last year, so we will be having to purchase for this year's book list. So as soon as we get those book titles in, your teachers will be sharing sets of books. So we should have those in within the next couple of weeks. But you guys will be getting a Battle of the Books journal. So this journal, it was like our Bluebonnet books last year. If you did that, we're doing those a little different this year. We're doing quizzes, but they help you keep track of the books you read. So there's a spot for you to write who the author is and then what the book is about. Also, the keywords that are in the book, which would be helpful to you. So these will be what you use to keep track of the different books that you have read. And then if you happen to make your class's team, then you can use these journals to help you prepare for your battle. So keep up with your journal and the books you're reading. You'll be glad you did when it comes time if you make the team. So happy reading, and I will leave you with a picture of last year's champions. This was after our semi-district battles. So Mrs. Byers' class is the reigning 4th grade champion. So they currently hold the title, and you guys will have to defend it this year. So these were the students that went and competed at our district, our semi-district battle. So good luck to all the classes, and I hope you enjoy the book selection this year.